God says, "Listen closely, my beloved soul, and allow yourself to remain here without rushing your thoughts forward." You did not arrive at this moment randomly, yet there is no pressure placed upon you to act or respond. Simply being present is enough. Presence opens a quiet space where understanding can form naturally, without effort and without resistance. You may notice that something within you chose to pause. That pause did not come from curiosity alone. It came from recognition. Recognition is gentle. It does not demand attention, it invites it. When recognition appears, it often means the heart sensed alignment before the mind could explain it. As you stay here, notice how your breathing begins to slow and your awareness feels steadier. This is not coincidence. Calm emerges when the inner world feels safe enough to listen. Listening does not require striving. It requires openness, and openness is already present within you. There are moments when a message reaches you not to change who you are, but to remind you of what you already carry. Reminders feel grounding. They do not overwhelm the mind, they settle the heart. When the heart settles, clarity has room to grow. You may feel a soft reassurance beginning to rise. This reassurance does not promise instant answers. It offers steadiness. Steadiness allows growth to last because it respects your pace. Growth that respects your pace integrates gently rather than overwhelming you. As awareness deepens, comparison begins to lose its grip. Comparison thrives on speed and noise. In quiet presence, it fades. What remains is authenticity. Authenticity feels lighter because it does not require approval. It allows you to be sincere with yourself, without judgment. There is permission here to rest your thoughts. Rest is not avoidance, it is restoration. Restoration gives you access to wisdom that pressure often blocks. Wisdom formed in calm conditions stays with you because it integrates rather than rushes past. You may sense a quiet confidence forming. This confidence does not announce itself. It does not seek validation. It rests as trust. Trust in your resilience, trust in your capacity to learn, and trust in the timing of your life as it unfolds. As you remain present, distractions feel less compelling, not because you resist them, but because your inner space feels fuller. Fullness does not need constant stimulation. It rests comfortably, engaging when needed and remaining still when stillness serves you better. This message does not ask you to become someone else. It invites you to recognize who you already are beneath expectations and noise. Recognition reconnects you with your inner rhythm. When you move in rhythm with yourself, choices feel less heavy and more aligned. You may notice moments of reflection arising naturally. Reflection here is not regret. It is understanding. Understanding of how far you have come, even when progress felt invisible. Understanding of strength you carried quietly. Stay with this calm. Let it settle. This is the beginning of an unfolding that will deepen gently, building clarity and trust without pressure. What comes next will continue this movement, allowing understanding to root itself more fully within you. As you remain with this message, notice how the stillness you felt earlier is no longer something you are trying to hold on to. It has begun to rest within you naturally, like a quiet presence that does not demand attention yet remains constant. This kind of calm does not fade quickly, because it is not created by excitement. It is created by understanding. You may begin to sense that your thoughts feel less urgent. Not absent, but gentler. When urgency softens, clarity has room to emerge. Clarity does not rush. It arrives when the mind stops pushing and the heart starts listening. This listening is not about words. It is about awareness. There is something reassuring unfolding here. You are allowing yourself to stay without needing to figure everything out. This is important. The need to understand everything immediately often blocks deeper insight. Patience opens doors that force keeps closed. As you stay present, you might feel a subtle shift in how you relate to your past. Moments that once felt confusing may now appear as steps rather than mistakes. This does not erase difficulty, but it reframes it. Reframing allows learning to remain without carrying the weight of self-judgment. You may notice that comparison continues to lose its influence. Comparison thrives when attention is scattered. In presence, it dissolves. What remains is an awareness of your own path, your own timing, and your own growth. Growth measured internally feels more honest than growth measured against others. There is a quiet invitation here to trust your rhythm. Rhythm is personal. When you honor it, decisions feel less draining. You stop forcing yourself into spaces that do not fit and begin recognizing where you naturally belong. Belonging does not shout. It feels calm. As awareness deepens, emotions may move through you more smoothly. Instead of being suppressed or overwhelming, they pass with clarity. This is not emotional distance. It is emotional understanding. Understanding allows emotions to inform rather than control you. You may sense a growing inner safety. Safety does not mean certainty. It means trust in your ability to respond thoughtfully to whatever arises. This trust builds slowly, through experience, reflection, and patience. It does not demand proof. It grows quietly. Breathing may feel deeper now, more rhythmic. Rhythm steadies the nervous system. When the nervous system feels steady, insight surfaces naturally. You are not forcing insight. You are allowing it. There is also a gentle recognition that some of what you carried was never meant to stay with you forever. Some experiences were meant to teach, not remain. Letting go here is not loss. It is alignment. Alignment lightens your steps. You may feel gratitude arise without effort. Gratitude here is not about circumstances. It is about awareness. Awareness that you endured, adapted, and continued even when clarity felt distant. Awareness that you are still here, still open, still willing to listen. As this message continues, you may notice that your inner voice sounds kinder. Kindness toward yourself changes everything. It softens self-judgment and creates space for growth. Growth supported by kindness lasts longer than growth driven by pressure. There is reassurance here that you are not late. The idea of being late dissolves when you recognize that your life has been unfolding exactly as it needed to. What matters is not speed, but alignment. Alignment makes the journey sustainable. You may notice that your attention remains here without effort. This is resonance. Resonance happens when something aligns internally. When resonance is present, staying feels natural, not forced. Carry this awareness gently. There is no urgency to act. No instruction to follow. Only an invitation to remember this calm when life becomes noisy again. Each time you remember it, it becomes easier to return. Stay here. This unfolding is still moving forward, quietly and patiently. What comes next will deepen this understanding even further, allowing it to settle not just as a feeling, but as a way of being. As you remain with this message, notice how the calm you felt earlier has shifted from something you were noticing to something you are living inside. This transition matters. When calm becomes lived rather than observed, it begins to guide how you move, how you listen, and how you decide. Guidance formed this way is gentle, yet reliable, because it grows from within rather than being imposed from outside. You may sense that your inner world feels more spacious now. Spaciousness does not mean emptiness. It means openness. Openness allows thoughts and emotions to pass through without colliding. When they do not collide, they do not overwhelm. They inform. Information received without overwhelm becomes wisdom. There is a subtle recognition forming that many moments in your life were shaping you quietly, even when you could not name what was happening. Shaping does not announce itself. It works patiently, refining awareness, strengthening discernment, and teaching you how to remain steady without becoming rigid. As awareness deepens, your relationship with uncertainty may feel different. Uncertainty no longer appears as a threat to be eliminated, but as a space to navigate with presence. Presence does not remove uncertainty, it gives you the footing to move through it without losing balance. You may notice that your thoughts feel less persuasive. They still appear, but they no longer insist on immediate belief. This distance is healthy. It allows you to choose which thoughts deserve attention. Choice restores agency. Agency restores calm. There is also a gentle softening in how you hold yourself. Shoulders ease. Breathing finds rhythm. The body responds when the inner world feels safe. Safety here does not mean predictability, it means trust. Trust in your ability to adapt thoughtfully. You might feel a quiet shift in how you view your past. Instead of seeing it as a collection of errors or delays, it begins to look like a sequence of lessons that prepared you to listen more deeply now. Lessons do not lose value when they are understood later. Often, they gain it. As this message continues, comparison fades further into the background. Comparison thrives on distraction and urgency. In presence, it dissolves. What remains is authenticity. Authenticity is steady because it does not rely on approval. It allows you to stand in your truth without explanation. There is a recognition that your pace is not something to correct. It is something to honor. When you honor your pace, decisions feel less heavy. You stop pushing against yourself and begin moving with yourself. Movement with yourself feels sustainable. You may feel moments of reflection arise gently. Reflection here is not regret. It is perspective. Perspective allows you to see how strength developed quietly, even when you felt unsure. Quiet strength is still strength. As awareness continues to expand, emotions feel less like interruptions and more like signals. Signals guide. When you listen to them without judgment, they pass with clarity. This is emotional intelligence growing naturally, without effort. There is reassurance here that you do not need to prove anything to be worthy of peace. Peace is not a reward for achievement. It is a state that becomes accessible when you stop fighting your own experience. Breathing may feel deeper again, as if your body recognizes that it is allowed to rest while remaining alert. Restful alertness is balance. Balance supports insight without fatigue. You may notice gratitude emerging quietly. Gratitude for endurance you did not always recognize. Gratitude for patience that carried you through unseen seasons. Gratitude for the simple ability to pause and listen now. As this message unfolds, there is an invitation to integrate rather than conclude. Integration means what you feel here can remain accessible later, not as words, but as a way of responding to moments. Integration turns insight into orientation. Stay with this steadiness. Let it deepen without expectation. What follows will bring gentle closure, not by ending something, but by allowing wholeness to settle comfortably, without urgency. As you arrive at this final movement, notice how quietly everything has settled within you. Nothing was forced. Nothing demanded belief or action. And yet, something meaningful has taken place. This is how true inner shifts happen, not through intensity, but through gentleness that stays. You may realize now that what you felt throughout this message was not excitement, but reassurance. Reassurance does not rush the heart. It steadies it. And when the heart is steady, life feels less overwhelming, even when questions remain unanswered. There is an understanding forming that you were never meant to have everything figured out at once. Life unfolds in layers, not in conclusions. Each layer reveals itself when the inner space is ready to hold it. Readiness is not perfection. It is openness. And openness has been quietly growing within you. You might notice that your thoughts feel calmer now, not because problems disappeared, but because your relationship with them has softened. Softness allows flexibility. Flexibility allows balance. Balance allows clarity to remain even during uncertainty. There is a gentle reminder here that you are allowed to rest without guilt. Rest does not mean you are falling behind. It means you are honoring your limits. Honoring limits preserves strength. Preserved strength carries you forward more steadily than exhaustion ever could. As this message completes, there is a sense of inner permission. Permission to move at your own pace. Permission to pause when needed. Permission to trust that your journey does not need constant correction. Trust allows you to walk forward without constantly looking over your shoulder. You may feel a quiet confidence now, not the kind that announces itself, but the kind that stays with you. This confidence does not depend on outcomes. It depends on awareness. Awareness that you can listen, adapt, and choose thoughtfully, even when circumstances are unclear. There is also a soft reassurance that nothing meaningful about you has been missed or overlooked. What belongs to you does not require chasing. It arrives when alignment is present. Alignment grows from honesty with yourself, patience with your process, and compassion toward your own learning. As you prepare to move on from this moment, understand that nothing here is meant to be held tightly. What resonates will stay with you naturally. What does not will fade without resistance. Truth does not force itself. It remains where it is welcomed. You can return to this calm whenever you need it. Not by replaying words, but by remembering how it feels to pause, to breathe, and to listen without urgency. That feeling is not external. It belongs to you. Before you continue with your day, allow yourself one quiet breath. Let it remind you that you are allowed to slow down in a world that constantly rushes. Slowing down does not make you late. It helps you arrive with intention. This is not an ending that closes something. It is a completion that leaves you whole. Wholeness does not mean perfection. It means acceptance. Acceptance creates space for growth without pressure and movement without fear. Carry this steadiness gently into what comes next. Let it influence your next thought, your next response, your next choice. Even small moments touched by awareness can shift the entire direction of a day. And remember, you were never asked to be more than you are. You were only invited to be present. Presence is enough. It always has been. White Heart Soft, Natural CTA, Pressure-Free, AVD Safe. If this message brought calm or clarity to your heart, you may choose to like, share, or stay connected for more moments like this. And if it feels right, leaving a simple "Amen" can be your own quiet affirmation, not for anyone else, but for yourself. If this message resonated with your soul, don't forget to like and share so this divine energy reaches more hearts. Subscribe now for daily spiritual messages and comment "Amen" to affirm your faith and blessings.